What up, my friend? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm excited to be recording again. I have some great questions that came in on my Instagram Q&A, so make sure you listen to this entire podcast. I have some really good topics that I'm going to talk about. But first, just a quick update on my training per usual. My Achilles recovery is going well, so well that I think I can stop saying that I am in Achilles recovery. I had a super strong run on Saturday. I did my first true speed workout in probably 4 months. And not only was that a milestone in itself, but I crushed it and it felt really good during and after. So I'm really pumped about the progress. I actually ran my fastest 400 meter in 2026, 1 minute and 38 seconds. I ran my third fastest 800 meters in 2026, 3 minutes and 38 seconds. I ran my my second fastest mile in 2026, 7 minutes and 35 seconds. And I ran my fastest 5K in 2026, 24 minutes and 48 seconds. I am pumped. It feels so good to be back to running strong, increasing my distance and my duration. Oh, it feels so good. I have signed up for a Spartan race in 2 weeks. Bethel, New York, the Sprint Spartan race, one of my favorite venues in the Northeast. It's really fun. It's actually a flat course, so you can kind of pick up some speed, but it's going to be a 5K in Spartan terms. That usually means 6 to 7 miles. There's going to be 20 obstacles, and I'm doing it for fun. I like to compete in these events, but I am doing this with a group of 3 other guys, and some of them, well, actually, none of them have done a Spartan race before. So this is more about going out there with friends, having a good time, getting my feet wet on the course again, probably literally and figuratively. There are some muddy spots in this course, so we will have some wet sneakers, but this will be my first test of the Achilles as far as combining some plyometrics or at least jumping up and down off of obstacles with running. I'm not sure how fast we'll be running because not everybody in the group are runners. But with this event, it's actually short enough to where even if you're not a runner, you can actually get some good jogs in. So we'll probably pick up the pace a little bit here and there, run through the woods, jump up onto some obstacles, climb on some things, hang on some things. I will be bringing my phone with me so I can actually record some footage of me doing the obstacles. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I'm just super excited to finally get back onto the course and do a Spartan race. So enough about me. I also want to give a shout out to a couple of my online fitness and nutrition clients who have been crushing it. In particular, my fat loss clients. Now, I do work with people of numerous goals. So I have fat loss clients, I have performance clients, I work with police officers who are training for, physical fitness tests, whether it's to just be in the police academy or if they're already in the police force and they want to try out for SWAT. I help train police officers for that. And then if they've passed or when they passed, we continue to train to stay in shape to be, a strong, effective police officer when needed, because we know those first responders, sometimes they have to put their physical fitness to the test. And I really love the opportunity to do that. And I really appreciate the opportunity to do that. So, but yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to my fat loss clients. I'm going to put a couple of before and after pictures, or at least progress pictures on the screen here. This is what happens when you follow your calories, you track your calories, you weigh your food and track your food and you stay in your deficit. This is what happens, my friends. There is a science behind fat loss, and that science comes down to calories in, calories out. And it doesn't mean that fat loss is as easy as eat less and move more, because there's a lot of different things that go into that. Food is everywhere, so telling somebody eat less and move more isn't helpful advice at all. Um, Food noise is real. Stress eating is real. Emotional eating is real. Boredom eating is real. So, and people are busy. They can't always move. So it's not as easy as eat less and move more, but the science is when you control your calories in versus your calories out, you will lose body fat. And this is a prime example here. Two clients in particular as of late that have been crushing it. Actually, I take that back. Three clients lately have just sent in some really strong updated progress pictures, and you can clearly tell their body fat percentage is dropping and their body composition is improving. That's what it's all about. I love getting people stronger. I love improving your heart health. I love improving your mobility. But if you have excess body fat and you are losing that body fat and turning it into muscle or replacing it with muscle, your health is improving significantly. Improving your body composition is objectively one of the best ways to improve your overall health. So if you're already lean, shout out to you. We're already one step ahead of the game. But for people who may be carrying some extra body fat, may have a little bit of extra weight to lose, just keep in mind that losing body fat or changing your body composition is the best way to improve your health. That will lower your cholesterol. Improve body composition, losing body fat will improve your cholesterol. It will improve your heart health. It will make it easier to move around. So your mobility is going to improve. It is objectively the best thing that you can do to improve your health. So shout out to my online strength and nutrition clients, particularly my fat loss clients. Okay, I have 4 phenomenal questions. Let's get into this week's questions from my Instagram Q&A. Number 1, how to stay consistent when routine starts to feel repetitive. And I love this because I think I'm just going to give you some blunt honesty as opposed to a solution. And I like to ramble, so maybe I will get into a solution, but I just want to start out by saying your routine should be repetitive. And the most successful people have the most repetitive routine, myself included. A lot of my clients who are super successful, no matter what their goal is, they're just routined people. That's like the definition of routine is basically repetitive, or repetitiveness is part of the definition of routine. Um, when you have a routine, that's when you are dialed in. If your workouts are repetitive, that's probably a good thing. Nothing drives me crazier than the group of people who are still saying you have to trick your body to make progress. False. You have to do the same thing over and over and over again to get good at it. The best athletes in the world practice the same shit over and over and over again. NBA basketball players just shoot basketballs for hours a day. NFL quarterbacks just throw footballs to get better at it. If it feels repetitive, too bad. Keep going. That's the harsh answer. It should be repetitive. That's how you're going to get good at it. Now, to answer the question, I mean, this is off the top of my head. I think this person may want like maybe a mental hack, which I don't necessarily know if I have. Like I said, I'm answering these questions off the top of my head. If it feels too repetitive, maybe just switch one thing up. Maybe not consistently, but maybe just like, I don't know, if you feel like you're going for a run at the same parkway, or for me, a canal, because these are the 2 places I run, like maybe if that feels too repetitive, go on a trail run. If you are doing the same workouts week in and week out, which you should be if you want to make progress. You should be doing the same workouts week in and week out. Yes, you adjust your weights, you adjust your reps and sets and all of that to change the variables, but for the most part, you do the same workouts over and over and over again. Um, Maybe one day instead of going to the gym, you work out at home. Maybe one day instead of going to the gym, you go to a park that has some pull-up bars and you do a workout there. Bring a kettlebell, bring a dumbbell, and do a full body workout with one dumbbell in your body weight. You can switch things up in micro doses, but for the most part, your routine should feel repetitive. I eat the same thing every single day. The people I know who have the most success with nutrition eat the same thing every single day. Your nutrition should feel repetitive. Well, no, I take that back. Maybe that doesn't sound right. Because you can not eat the same thing every day and still make progress. It's just, to me, a little bit more difficult, especially if you're tracking. Like I eat 3 meals and 2 snacks every single day. My 2 meals are the same exact thing every single day. And then dinner is different. I eat dinner with my wife every night and we have something different. But my breakfast and lunch and my 2 snacks are the same every single day. That works for some people. It doesn't work for other people. Some people need variety. But long-winded way of saying, which I already said, so I'll repeat it. Your routine should feel repetitive. Just stay dialed, stay focused on your goal. Maybe a trick could be, actually, this is what I would say. If you want to stay consistent when your routine starts to feel repetitive, sign up for an event or a competition that would result in you, like that would be a result of your training. So, for example, I'm doing a Spartan race. Then sign up for a Spartan race. That way you have something to keep you consistent. You have an end goal in mind. There's an end in sight. But my training is going to be the same for 6 months. There may be times where I'm not, falling off of my consistency. But if I have an event that I'm looking at in the future, that's a way to stay consistent when it starts to feel repetitive. I can just remember, what is my why? Why am I doing the same shit over and over and over again? For me in particular, why do I do weighted pull-ups every single Monday? Why do I run every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday? Why am I doing B stance RDLs again every Wednesday for the past 3.5 years? I remember my why and I keep on pushing. So remember your why is the answer to that question. Number 2, how should your workouts change when you are in your senior years? 40 versus 60, 70 versus 80. I love this question. I think it's phenomenal. And I don't think your workouts should change very much. I think that there's obviously nuance to that. It's going to be dependent on each person, obviously. But if you do things right and consistently and you have a solid routine, then there's a good chance that you can maintain a very similar, if not the same training from 40 to 60 and then from 70 to 80. What I will say is there may be a certain point, maybe 70 versus 80 or in your 80s, maybe that's when you start to do more like machine-based work instead of free weights. But then again, if that's what you've been doing in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, then you're probably going to be able to do some of that stuff in your 80s. And obviously, I don't know from personal experience, but I do know a couple of guys in the gym who are in their 70s, late 70s. I know this because I've spoken to this one man in particular, and he's insanely inspiring. He carries around a pen and paper, a little notebook, and he does barbell back squats. He does bench press. He does military press. And I've talked to him numerous times, and the first time I talked to him, obviously, it was in astonishment because he's doing compound movements and he's clearly in his 70s. And he said, he goes, I just have never stopped doing this since I was young. And I think he was in the military. And I mean, he's a very small guy. He's not this big, like, jack dude. He's just very small. Um, but he does all of the compound movements that many people my age avoid. And his secret is that he has just been consistently doing them. Kind of a full circle answer to question one. You just got to keep doing it. Um, I also see men in their 50s and 60s, and I work with men in their 50s and 60s who are doing plyometrics. One guy in particular, I can see him right now at the gym on the turf. He's easily in his late 60s, if not 70s, and he's doing plyometrics. He's doing skips and hops and bounding. He probably didn't just wake up and start doing them in his 70s. He's been doing them and he's conditioned to do them. So do I think that a 70-year-old should just start doing plyometrics? Obviously not. If you've been following me or listening to me for any amount of time, you know that I think we all start somewhere and there is a starting point for everyone. Um, I would never have somebody in their 60s just all of a sudden start jumping. I would obviously do the prerequisites to jumping before I had them do that, but they can do it. Um, if someone's mobility or stability is lacking in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and again, maybe just some machine work instead of free weights. Instead of doing a dumbbell bench press, you could very well just do a machine chest press. As long as you keep going, I don't think it really matters how much or how little your routine changes or your workouts change, because the most important thing is that you do something and that you stay consistent and you continue to strength train so you can maintain your muscle as you age. You can continue to have strong bones as you age. So I think, how should your workouts change when you're in your senior years? They shouldn't, because they should always include something that you enjoy, that fits your body and fits your abilities. So that obviously might change. Um, so yeah, just kind of listening to your body, shifting from free weights to machines, probably a pretty decent option. Also maybe lowering the reps of some things and maybe lowering the weights. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I'm a believer that you can get stronger as you get older, but also things do get more difficult as you get older. So you can't compare yourself to your younger self. I think that's one of the most important things. Um, there was one other thing that I wanted to mention, but I think it's going to slip my mind. If I remember, I'll circle back to it. Um, but we'll move on to question 3. What do you think about AI bot fitness apps? This is going to be a quick one, I think. Not that it really matters, but I'm not really concerned about them. Um, I guess maybe I'm looking at this question from a different perspective. As a personal trainer, a lot of personal trainers are worried about AI taking their jobs. Um, I don't care. AI will never replace me because it can't replicate my personality and it can't care the way that I care, because I truly care about my clients. I care about everybody that I've ever worked with. Um, Nobody is more important or less important than the next person. Um, I want everybody to succeed and be healthy and be happy and make progress. AI doesn't have a soul. So if an AI bot fitness app helps somebody get off the couch and exercise, cool. I don't really see a difference between that and the fact that for the past 30 years, you could just Google a workout program. Um, you can just YouTube best chest workout, and it's going to be something that's better than nothing. I obviously think that my programming is the best and I'm a really good coach. So obviously I know that I write better workouts than AI, and I know that I'm going to give better individualized workout programs than you're going to find on YouTube. But nonetheless, if that's what somebody has access to and it's going to get them moving, they're probably going to make progress with it. And that's great because the worst program done consistently is better than the best program done inconsistently. So if these AI bot fitness apps help get people moving, cool, works for me. But it will never be me. It will never replace me. So I really don't ever give it much thought. But I do like the question. I think it's an important topic. If I was an attorney or if I was a data analyst, I might be a little bit more nervous. Okay, question 4. This is not fitness related, but I think it's important. And some of you might not be interested, but hopefully you've made it this far. And if you have, please continue to listen. I won't make this very long, and I will tie it in to a fitness journey. What was your first step when you decided to quit weed? For those of you that don't know, I am coming up on 3.5 years of being pot free and basically sober because I really haven't drank in a long, long time. Sometimes I have a sip of my wife's wine, like once in a blue moon, but I haven't actually had my own drink in years. I can't even remember. My wedding. That was a lie. A year and a half ago. Maybe almost 2 years ago, I drank at my wedding. I stand corrected. Um, the first step I did when I decided to quit smoking weed, when I truly said, this is it. I changed my environment. I removed everything in my house that was going to give me access to smoke or the ability to smoke. I removed every single lighter, um, lighters, pipes, bongs, ashtrays, grinders, everything gone. I changed my environment, removed the temptation, and I removed every vice, anything that was going to make it easy for me to smoke. Obviously, I got rid of all the pot that I had, or any pot that I had, rather. And to be honest, I also stopped hanging out with a couple of people just for a few weeks. People that I knew were consistently smoking, I stopped reaching out to them to have our smoke sessions. So I changed my environment, and I tie that into fitness because, or by saying, when you want to make a big change in fitness, especially for fat loss, you have to change your environment. Environment plays a massive role in your success. And a lot of people don't want to admit this, and a lot of people don't talk about this, but if you don't change your environment, then you are not going to be able to change the way you do things. If you still have a cookie jar on your counter and you're wondering why you're not losing fat, it's because your environment is fucked. If you want to lose body fat, if you want to eat healthier, you have to take the cookie jar off of your counter and you have to put a fruit bowl on your counter. You have to make sure that when you open your fridge at eye level, you have access to healthy choices. You have to change your environment. You can't make a change without cleaning up your environment. You have to remove the soda from your house and replace it with carbonated water. You have to remove the ultra processed cookies and replace them with high protein snacks like yogurt, things like that. You have to change your environment. And that was the biggest thing for me. That's the first step that I took. So that is the first like actual step. The very first thing I had to change in my mind was my desire to get high. My desire to be sober had to be greater than my desire to be high. And my wife told me that when I first told her I wanted to quit smoking pot before I actually did it. And that's a huge mindset shift. And it's kind of the same thing with food. Your desire to be healthy has to be greater than your desire to temporarily enjoy this ultra processed snack. Your desire to walk without having joint pain or go up the stairs without being out of breath has to be greater than your desire to have temporary satisfaction from eating a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream in one sitting. You have to change your mindset and you have to change your environment, or you're just going to keep treading water and you're going to stay in the same exact place. That's all I got for you today. I don't want to keep rambling. I think that's some quality topics with a pretty decent discussion. So if you made it this far, thank you very, very much. I appreciate you listening. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Leave me a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes. If you haven't left a written review on iTunes and that's where you listen, please do me a huge favor. Just write me a quick review. Great podcast. Love this episode. 5 stars. Boom. If you didn't like the episode, don't leave a review at all. Shoot me a message. Let me know how I can improve. These were legitimate questions from my followers, and I love that because it helps me talk about topics that people definitely want to know about, as opposed to me trying to think of what people want to hear about. It makes it so much easier on me and so much more enjoyable because I truly want to help people. I want to give you as much free, useful information as I can. I want to share my experiences, but I don't want to guess what you want to hear or what you want to learn about. So if you have anything you want me to discuss, any questions you want me to answer, any topics you think would be fun, do not hesitate to reach out. You can either message me on Instagram at Patrick DeBello Fitness, or you can shoot me an email, patrick@syracusefitnesscenter.com. Like I said, thank you very much for listening. I appreciate your time. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have phenomenal workouts. Keep up the great work. We'll talk soon.